Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. Today taking a look at the NIV Heritage Bible in the Premier Collection from Zondervan. Out of the Premier Collection boxes, this is the most elegant. It's got raised line drawings through here. It looks really nice. Really elegant box. Really sturdy box. Strong, good and sturdy. And of course it comes wrapped, just like the others, and with a little page there telling you about it. It comes wrapped in this premium feeling paper. It's really thick paper. I like that. So it looks elegant, it feels elegant. And of course this one is made of goat skin, covered in goat skin just like all the others. This is leather lined. It's not thin. It doesn't have a thin feel. It's thinner than maybe some of the more expensive goat skin Bibles, but it's not thin at all. And it has a nice grain to it. It's not a pronounced grain, but it is a grain. It's not smooth. It is there. So leather lined with a gilt line, and then edge lined. And then on the outside we have printed in silver. This feels stamped. It's got the hubs or the ridges for the spine, and this is printed in silver. And this actually, you can feel it. It feels stamped. The New King James edition felt like it was printed on. This one feels like it's stamped on. Perimeter stitched. It's really loose feeling. Silver under blue edges and 3 ribbons. This one has black and blue ribbons for the Old Testament and red for the New Testament. These are the 3/8 inch or around 10 millimeters, and they're really long. This is a very flexible Bible. Now this first page here is a little bit looser than the one, or more flexible than the one in the New King James. This page seems to be glued to it a little bit. It's a little bit more difficult to deal with, but it's really nice. It has blue highlights all throughout this Bible, and these are examples of it. So this is the presentation page with its blue highlight, and then you have your marriages, births, adoptions, and deaths. This paper itself is 36 GSM, and it's really nice paper. I like it. It's premium paper. It's not shiny under direct light. We're under direct light right here, and it's not shiny at all by any means. Let me zoom in just a hair if I don't get that too much. And it's easy to turn. It's coated, but it's not. It's like a semi-coated. Still has an elegant feel to it. It's not rough at all. No rough texture to it. It's smooth, but it's easy to pick up and turn. I don't have any issues turning these pages. And then now here's the deal. The real deal, the star of the show. This is a single column paragraph using the 2K Denmark designed comfort print typeface that he designed specifically for the NIV for Zondervan. Really sharp, really nice. Now this one has blue highlights, including the page numbers, including the section headings, and the drop cap for the chapter numbers. The verse numbers are there, of course, but they're maybe a little bit more difficult to find because of they're not bold in any way, and they don't stand out in any way. It could be good or bad depending on your point of view. Now this doesn't have references, so it doesn't have to share space on the page for references like the New King James does. That also helps this one be a smaller Bible. The footprint is the same as the New King James, but the text, the thickness is a little different. So let's measure this thing, see what we've got. This is a little over 2 pounds. So we're looking at almost 9 1/4 by 6. And this one's always the difficult one. And yes, I did this ahead of time, but I don't remember. By about 1 3/4. It's not that. 1 1/2. About 1 1/2. It's right around 1 1/2. You'll see more detail about all that on BibleBuyingGuide.com on the written review. I always go into more detail in the written reviews. Now, the font itself, they label it as a 10-point. I believe that's including the leading, the space between the lines. This one comes in around 8 1/2. It's really dark all the way through. consistently dark. And you can see the show-through isn't bad at all. It's probably more show-through on the camera than there is in person. Now, one thing that is really unique about this design is the footnotes. They're inset into the bottom right corner of the page. That's on every page that has footnotes. So this is what it looks like in the prose section. It just sort of has this clear white space border around it. Looks really good, really elegant. I like the design. And then in the poetic settings, it's off to the side because the poetic setting doesn't come close to the notes. I love this design. Now the word count is a little bit more than my personal choices. It's somewhere around 14 words across, whereas the New King James is about 10 words across. But this isn't bad. This isn't bad at all. The space between the lines does help when you're reading, especially when you're reading out loud. And the spine is really loose. It's a flexible spine, and that does allow this to come up. So it will lay open without your pages having to bend too far into the gutter. There's a little bit of bending. It's not bad, though. It's not bad at all. So your text doesn't get lost in the gutter, and it helps keep the page flatter. When the page is flatter, it's easier to figure out where you are when you come to the next line. Black letter. Just really nice Bible, really sharp. I like it. Pages, book start on a new page. I'm getting too close here. Let's see. And then in the back, we have, if I can get there. I love these blue highlights. It looks really nice. This is a nice reading Bible. It's not as heavy as the New King James. It's just over 2 pounds. It's about almost a pound lighter. And I find this one easier to hold and carry and read from because of that. So table of weights and measures. Just a simple one-page table. And then the concordance. Now this is a really good concordance. 2,474 word entries. I didn't count them. I'm just going to take their word for it. With 10,000 scriptures. Again, didn't count them. But what I like about this is that it gives you biographical information about people. So here's one on Aaron. So it gives you some information there, telling a little bit about him, and then gives you some scriptures. The New King James doesn't include people in its concordance. This is a better concordance. I like this concordance a lot. It's actually one of the better concordances that you find in a Bible. Let me show you how many references we have for God. Starts here. Now remember, in the New King James, it wasn't this many. So we have about a column, full column, full column, full column, and almost a full column. So 4.5 columns about. That's amazing. I like that. And then also it gives you other words that are similar. So it's giving you suggestions of what other things to search for. So if you're searching for God breathed, then you can also search for breathed. And then, just helps expand your search. Really good information. It's kind of like a non-digital version of a search engine that would suggest things. Now, right here's a couple of pages for notes. It's the same paper as the Bible paper. 1, 2, 3, 2 pages. So it's not really much there, but it's better than nothing. Now, these are the standard Thomas Nelson Zondervan maps. World of the Patriarchs, and they include topography, so for your elevation, rivers, cities, some annotations with dates. So World of the Patriarchs, Exodus, Conquest of Canaan, Land of the 12 Tribes. I like these colors. These are good colors. This paper is the shiny, glossy paper, and it doesn't include an index, but it's a really thick paper. Kingdoms, annotations where events took place, Jesus' ministry, Kingdom of David and Solomon. And here it gives you scriptures of where things took place. Some of them give you some dates. Here's some dates for Paul's missionary journeys, for all the journeys, and then Jerusalem in the time of Jesus. Now, That's a nice little Bible. I like that one. That's definitely a good one. Let's see how it compares to another NIV. This, I have to zoom back out. This is the Cambridge Clarion in goatskin. And the Clarion is a little thicker, by maybe 1/4 inch. And you can see the footprint is about the same width, but the Heritage is taller. So let's see what they look like. This is the 36 GSM paper. And this one is 28 GSM paper. 36, 28. Let's turn to the same page in both. We might as well turn to Jeremiah, simply because it's right there. I do love this paper in this NIV. This is the best paper in any of the Clarions. The 28 Endopaque. It's my favorite of the Clarion paper. It doesn't get page curl like the others do, but it is thinner. It's a lot thinner than this. So there's how they compare. This text is larger, but only a little. Only just a little. Just barely noticeable. The darkness, it's kind of hard to say which is darker. This paper is more opaque, and they're both printed with line matching, and anytime you have line matching, you're going to have a line behind a line, which means that this line itself is going to be dark. You're not going to have any darkness between the lines, but you're going to have the words themselves with darkness behind them. I think that shows up more on the Clarion than it does on this one. This is more opaque. I think this is more readable. So I really like reading from this one. This paper seems to be whiter. This is more of an ivory color, possibly. And this actually bends a little bit more into the gutter. And the reason for that is the Clarion, goatskin Clarion, the spine stays mostly flat. Whereas the other Clarions are not as stiff and the spine comes up higher. And they actually have a flatter page. I actually prefer the calf skin and the calf split Clarion to the goatskin. And here is the New King James. We might as well turn to Jeremiah while we're here. Now, this one, the footprint is about the same. And the New King James Premier Collection, where it has red, the NIV has the blue. This one, the sections seem to separate from themselves a little bit, from each other a little bit. This one doesn't do this. This one it feels more elegant, maybe. They're both elegant Bibles. There's no doubt about that. But I like this one. I like the way this one's done. They both look really nice. They're both nice Bibles. Now this one you have your red, but you also have the references. So you have a smaller column. At the same time, this has a larger font. And since this has a larger font, you have another issue with the Bible being thicker. Quite a bit thicker. I don't know if you can see it from above, but quite a bit thicker. It's noticeable. But both are nice Bibles. I love both of them. I really do. So anyway, I will post links to this review at BibleBuyingGuide.com to the written review, so you can see more detail about everything. And I did receive this in exchange for an honest review, and that's exactly what I give you, an honest review. Now between the two, I like them both. They're both amazing Bibles. They did a really good job on these. I'm very pleased. I don't have any issues at all calling this a premium Bible, and I don't have any issues at all recommending this. I highly recommend both of them. But there is the New King James, and here is the NIV. I'll post links in the notes. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.